Appreciate it, Jim. I mean, everybody could hear her if she didn't have the microphone, so it was okay that you kept it. Our next guest is our government co-chair, Alexis Bonnell. She's the Chief of Applied Innovation and Acceleration at USAID's Global Development Lab. She's here to talk about the Global Innovation Exchange. It is an award winner here last year. Congratulations on that. It's nice to see you.
All right, I know what you're really doing is you're just waiting until the winners are announced, right? And I know that because I was sitting in this room last year waiting until the winners are announced. And so I'm going to tell you a little bit about, first of all, how honored we were to win last year and a little bit about what it was we won with. But actually, more importantly, I'm going to reflect on what it meant to be a winner and what I learned from that since. So let me see if I can get into this, maybe. Give you a minute? All right. We're going to give it a minute. So we in essence developed a platform. So at USAID, we had invested in over 1,000 innovations, but we weren't the only ones around government. So the UK had invested in innovations, Gates Foundation, et cetera. So all of a sudden you had, does anyone want to guess a few years ago how many innovative cook stoves there were out there? Innovative cook stoves. How many options could the world have? It's not a trick question, I promise. 297. If you wanted to look at solar lights, there were over 360. And this is years ago, right? And so what was happening is that as we were all innovating, and come in, sit down, I won't be offended, take a seat, the winners will be announced soon, get a good chair. So what we found is that as different innovations were coming up, people didn't actually know what already existed. And so they were reinventing it. And when I was looking to make innovation bets and to invest money, someone would submit something. I would think, wow, this is cool. We should fund this. This sounds really smart. But I didn't actually know there were already 9 of those things out there. Or I didn't know that someone had actually already funded it and it either worked or didn't work. And so what we really recognized is that we needed a business intelligence engine. Any luck on the slides? Yeah, still coming? All right. And so what we did is we decided that not only was it about a business intelligence engine, so we needed to be able to see all of the innovations in one place, but were we the only ones with this problem? Was USAID the only one trying to find an innovation? The answer is
no.
No, thank you. We were not. And so what we realized is that if we tried to make a site that was a USAID, red, white, and blue, do you think other nations or other players would want to put their stuff on our site? No is also the answer. And so what was interesting is to figure out if this was going to have real impact, we had to kind of get over ourselves and say, well, partnering with who will make this successful? So very quickly, I'll show you the exchange. It, in essence, is unleashing global genius and global resources. So not only putting the innovations in one place, we put all of the money in our industry looking for solutions in one place. And so what that meant is if you had an idea, instead of having to search constantly, et cetera, you could go and search. We've had over, I think it's almost $1 billion of different funding opportunities come through this. So imagine the amount of time that was cut for someone who was looking for funding or who was looking for their competition. So really quickly, the problem, all of those things I've talked about. The solution, a central repository. We've talked a lot about those today. The current data, again, over 1 billion of cumulative open funding, over 6,000 innovations. I think we're up to 8 now, and actually over 2,000 plus funding deals. So when you want to talk about really providing value to both sides, we were excited about this. So how can you use it? These are all the different ways, and I'm going to go through this really quickly. Social entrepreneurs can see these things, they can search, it's all sexy, and I'm going through this quickly because what I want to tell you is what it meant for me to do this and to win this. So you can read that. Here were some of our funders. The other interesting thing is that after we funded this, we were the sole funder, but we got 100 different partners around the world to join us in less than 90 business days, and now we have other nations that actually help us co-fund this. So the South Koreans, the Gates Foundation, Australia. And in essence, we're looking for innovation opportunities for entrepreneurs, connect them with money. Feedback has been great. So I'm going through this because Yay, it's amazing. But this is what I want to focus on. Well, you heard a lot of amazing things today, so I want to get to the human part of it. So number one, I want you to know that when someone tells you it's not possible, you can get 100 partners on board with your thing in less than 100 business days. You can get multi-government collaboration and funding. You can also go, and this is probably the most important thing, from MVP, meaning your idea, to an actual thing that people use, entrepreneurs were putting information in, innovators were accessing, in less than 90 business days. And we've heard some really amazing stories today about that. We also created something that was microsite capable, meaning that someone else could come on, put their own brand on top of it, and export all of the data so that they got to look like heroes in their organization. It was completely brand agnostic, so no brand was bigger or more special. It was not red, white, and blue for obvious reasons as well. But more importantly, what we were really trying to do is stop collecting data, but drive business intelligence, and that's sharing. So what I'm going to tell you now is, in essence, what it meant to win. So all of that was what happened last year. It was amazing. It's great. We won. We were one of the winners, and we were not the only deserving winner. So all of you out here deserve to win. But I want to tell you what it meant for me as an innovator and as a change agent at USAID. This is what I describe a lot of my day like to people, and I'm hoping other people can relate to this. Anyone relate? Yeah? Okay. And who here is a change agent? Hopefully, okay. And you know that's part of your job, and it's part of all of our jobs. But what I love about that is the fact that if I did that enough, what would happen? There'd be a dent.
You'd pass out.
If I did it a lot more, there'd be a hole, and I'd come out on the other side, right? So for me, the exchange was very much about coming out on the other side, right? Our team believed in it, we thought we could do it, but most of getting to that point was this, right? The very fact that we could navigate our CIO, our public affairs, our procurement, our legal people to even let us put that out publicly in less than 90 business days, was a lot of partnership and a lot of that. But I want to tell you why it was so important to win. And why I mentioned in my previous time how it's so important to actually take a moment to recognize progress, right? Because taking a moment to win or to be validated or to validate others is actually like taking a Tylenol after the headache you get from this, right? No particular brand, site to Tylenol, but you really do have to find a moment to be refreshed, right? You have to find a moment to be validated. We have to validate each other. And it was really powerful. Most people in my agency didn't know we were doing this. They didn't know what it was. They didn't pay any attention to it. And so by winning, I walked back into the office and they said, well, wait a minute. We won something? What was this? Tell me about it. And it gave me an incredible path to be able to talk about this. It gave me a path to be able to talk about why this was important in ways that our senior leaders may not have even recognized before. So not everyone is going to be able to win in every instance. But what I do want to tell you is that reaffirming your change agents, giving them moments, celebrating them. If you're managing one of these processes and they make a step forward, you got to take a step back and celebrate it. Right? You got to say, this is amazing, great job, take a breath, enjoy it. Because otherwise you'll get to the point where the migraine makes it not fun anymore, right? And you've got to have those little moments of rebirth. So the last thing I'll leave you with is this. I think the most important thing about my lesson in doing this, and I think the thing that kept me sane through all of it, is that when we launched that MVP, we knew it wasn't going to be good enough. We knew it wasn't going to be perfect, and that was okay, right? So as you're looking at innovation, as you're looking at these amazing platforms that you've produced, never look at the time you finally go live as the end, right? That's where we just start. And if you take the moments to recognize each other, to recognize the little wins along the way, somehow you end up from an idea over there to being a winner, and in our case, hopefully changing the world over here. So thank you for all you're doing and for celebrating each other.